Welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this dress. Please like, subscribe and share this tutorial, and also share your thoughts on this tutorial on the comment section below. So first thing first, I'm just gonna start off by making a shoulder line here. So this will work as my starting point. So all the vertical measurements that I'm gonna be taking, I'm going to take them from the shoulder line I made right there. So for the vertical measurement, I'm going to go down here by 10 inches, which will be my bust point. And then for my under bust, I'm just gonna go down to 13 inches. And the waist, I'm going to mark about 16 inches. And just make sure you have few inches below the waistline. So it's my bust line, my under bust, and the waistline. So with that being done, I'll come here on the shoulder line and then I'll just mark 7 inches. So this is for the shoulder to shoulder measurements. Divide by 2, make a mark, and then I'll also just mark 3 inches for the neck opening. So I will come here on the shoulder to shoulder measurement and then I'll just go down by 1 inch. After that, I'm just going to extend the line here like this to the 3 inches mark I made there for the neck opening. So here I'm just going to go down by 2 inches. So this part, it's not really necessary, but just in case you don't understand. So from here I'm just going to go by the round arm measurement, which is 8 inches. So mine is 16 inches. I divided the 16 inches by 2 and then make a mark, and then from there I'm just going to join these points here together like so. So I'm just gonna label my line. So this is the bust point, and then this is the under bust, and this one is the waist measurement. And there I created the chest line. So I'm just going to extend this line here on this other side like this. So with that being done, I will take my tape measure. So here on my arm opening, I'm just going to take the measurements I have there, which is 8 inches. I'll divide it by 2 and make a mark with this 4 inches, and then I will just go in by ½ an inch like this. So then I will just make a curve for the curve opening. So though I will come here on the chest line, I will take my round bust measurements, divide it by 4, and then put the measurement here on the chest line. So mine is 8½ inches. So from there I will take my curve ruler and then just join the 2 points together, as you see me doing like this. So wow, I will take my nipple to nipple measurement. So mine is 4 inches. So as you see me doing, so I'm just gonna measure the nipple to nipple measurement up to the bust point, bust line, and then I will just make a straight line like this. So I will come here on the shoulder slope. I will take the measurements that I have here and then I'll just divide it by 2. So I marked 2 inches, and then I'm going to take it down straight to the nipple to nipple measurement I have on the bust line. So I will come here on this line. So I'm gonna mark 0.5 inch on this side here, and then another 0.5 inch on this side here, which is ½ an inch, ½ an inch. And then I will come here on this line, I will just go out by 1 inch. So this side is 0.5 and then this one other side is 1 inch. So once I'm done with that, I will take my curve ruler and then just make curves like this from the under bust to the bust line. So from there I will come here on the chest line. So on the chest line I will go up by 1 inch, and then I will come here on this line, I will just go up by 2½ inches. So from there I will take my curve ruler and then just make a curve to join the lines together. So if you can see, I'm joining the points here together, and I'm also just going to blend it in onto the chest line as you see me doing using the curve ruler. So now I will take my tape measure and then I will mark 0.5 on sides here, and then I will take my curve ruler and then just make a curve as you see me doing. That's it, I'm done. So now I'm going to be replacing the side here. So this part here, it's 1 inch, so I'm just going to be replacing it by adding it here on the chest line, and then I will just also add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So here on the waistline, I will come on the waistline, I will take my round waist measurements, divide by 4, minus 7.5 inches, and then from there what I will do is I'm going to replace the 1.5 inches I have there for the darts, and then I will also add extra 1 inch. So to explain, this is 7 inches, and then from the 7 inches I added 1.5 inch for the darts, and then extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance, and then that's it. Then I will just join the points together like so. So this is the part where I'm going to cut out, so I'm just going to be shading this part here so I don't get confused when I cut out. So that's it for the front. So here I'm just going to create a little bit of some dotted lines just to extend the lines I have, because that's the reason why I spoke about just leaving some few inches below the waistline. So this is how you must cut out your front piece. So after cutting this is what I've cut out. So I'm just going to remove these pieces here, and then after removing the pieces, I'm just going to align the lines I have here from the bust point down to the waistline, and then I will just take my tape and then just join here together like so. So well, that's it. So I will take my tape measure, and then I will come here on the sides. I will go down here by 1 inch from the bust line. I'm just gonna go down by 1 inch, and then I will take my curve ruler, and then I'm just gonna blend this together here like this. So I'm taking it to the joining that I have where there's a tape, and then I'm just gonna blend everything, and then I will come here on the waistline, and then I will just go down by 2 inches and make a point, and then from there I will take my curve ruler and then just join the lines together here like this, the 2 inches straight up to the waistline. So this is it. So I have 3 pieces for the front. Now for the back, I just made my straight line there for my zipper allowance, which I measured 1.5 inches. So here I'm just going to take my neck opening measurements. I'm going to take my shoulder lobe shoulder slope measurements, and then I will just come here and then mark my 8 inches, which I'm going to get my chest line, and then I'll just join the 2 points here together like so. So far from this part is exactly what I did when I was drafting the first part of the front of the dress. So this is just the basic pattern, and I'm just going to extend the lines here. So if you see, I have the chest line, the bust line, the under bust, and the waistline. And then from there, I'm just going to take my curve ruler and then just make a curve here for the neck hole, though we don't really need this part. So I'll come here on the line, on the armhole, and then I'll just mark 4 inches. I'll come on the chest line. I will take my butt's circumference and then divide it by 4 and make a mark. So after doing that, I'm just going to join with the 4 inches mark there, which is half of the armhole, and then I'll just extend the line here to the chest line. So from there, I'll just add extra 1 inch for the swing allowance, like I did on the front part. So now I will come here on the waistline. I will just take my nipple to nipple measurement. So mine is 4 inches. I'll just make a point. I'll make a mark like so, and then from there I'm just going to make a straight line to join the points together like this. So with that being done, I'll just come here and then just mark 0.5 on the sides of this line, and then I'll just take it straight to the chest line like this. So with that being done, I'll just come here and then I'll just go in by 0.25 and then 0.25, and then I'll just extend the line here like so. Exactly how I'm doing it. So I'm not gonna be cutting out the dart, I'm just gonna be folding in the dart. So I'll come here on my waistline. I will take my round waist circumference divided by 4 and add 1 inch, and then I'll also add another 1 inch for the swing allowance. So the first inch I measured, it's for replacing the darts, and then the other 1 inch I added, it's for the dart. Now I'll be extending the lines that I have here like this, so the chest line and the waistline. So from this point here, I'm just gonna go in by 0.5 inch and then just make a mark. And then from there, I'll just join these 2 points here together. So this is just to eliminate the zipper bulginess like this. Then I'm just gonna be cutting out, so you can just look at the lines that I'm cutting out. And that's it. I'm going to label this the zipper allowance. So on this point here, which I made the darts, I'm just going to highlight that part there, and then I'm just going to fold in here like this. So this is just to eliminate the back darts. So I won't be cutting out the dart part here. So after that, I'm going to take my tape and then just join this together with the tape like this. So this part here, I just wanted to make a little bit of a curve so it can be a little bit low here on the back. So I'm just going to extend the line I have on the shoulder line, on the chest line there, and then I'll just take it down to the bust point like this. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna be cutting out. And that's it. So I'm just gonna be cutting out this part here, and then after cutting out this part, I'm going to cut 2 of those, which is the back. So I'm going to cut twice, and then I will come here on the front piece. So here on the front piece, I'm just going to make some arrows to show how I need to place them on my fabric. So you can see this is a little bit confusing, so I was just thinking on how must I place this. So this is how I'm just going to place it. So it's advisable that once you are done cutting out your front, then you can do the arrows here, and then you just label on how many you need to cut for all the pieces. So this one will be on fold, and also this one will be on fold, and then now I'm just gonna cut out on my fabric. This is it. I've cut out here on my fabric. So here on my fabric, I cut out the lining and also the outside piece of this dress. So like I explained earlier about the arrows, I'm just gonna be doing the same thing here on the fabric because it's a little bit confusing. So now what I will do now is I'm gonna just join these pieces together. So the outside fabric, I'm just gonna be joining it, and then I'll also do the same on the lining. You can just take a look on how I'm going to be placing this fabric when I join. So this is what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna pin this side and then I'll just make a stitch. I will also do the same on the other side. So this is what I have. So make sure that you iron your seams whenever you're done joining the pieces. This is what I have. So now I'm gonna be working on the strap I have here on this dress. For these straps I measured about 13 inches long, but then I ended up reducing it to 8 inches, and then the width of this strap is 2 inches. So I'm just folded it here, and then I just made a stitch on both straps, and then after making a stitch I turned it inside out. So for this part I didn't really have a recording, so I'm just gonna be explaining. If you can check here, I've placed my lining and the fabric here, the outside fabric, right side facing each other, and then what I did was I took the straps and then put them in between the lining and the outside fabric. I'm sure you can see, and then where there's the seam joining, that's where I've attached my straps. So once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna be pinning this up, and then I'll just make a stitch. So this is where I'm gonna make a stitch, and then I'll just gonna be able to turn this inside out. So this is it. I've made a stitch on the left, on the sides, and also the top part of the dress. So here I'm just gonna be showing you the back piece. Where you see the marks, it's where I'm going to insert is the zipper allowance. So I'm gonna take these straps here, and then I will just open it in like this, and then I will just pin it down, right side facing each other. So from the zipper allowance line I have there, I just went in by 4 inches for my nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm just gonna be doing the same on this other side here like this. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna pin this, and then I'll just make a stitch. So I'm gonna make a stitch here and then just only leave the down part open. So I'm making a stitch on the top and both the sides. And this is it. So after making a stitch, I'm gonna turn this inside out. So this is what you will have, and then just make sure that your corner are nice and clean. So the next part here, I'm just gonna be taking the measurements that I have down here on the front piece. So it's 17 inches. So I'm gonna take the 17 inches and multiply it by 2, which I got 34 inches. So the fabric piece that you see here is 34 inches long, and then I made it 12 inches wide. So I'm just gonna be bringing it back to 17 inches while using the gathers. So here is the 12 inches I was speaking about, and then I'm just gonna be folding it like this, and then I'll just make a stitch here on the sides, and then I will turn this inside out. So this is what I have. So here on the opened part, I'm just gonna be making the gathers, and then I'll bring them to 17 inches. So this is what I have. So I will take the front part here, and then I'll be attaching the gathers exactly here on this part. So just make sure that on the sides you leave about 1 inch, or rather 1.5 inch, before you place your gathers. So the reason why I'm saying this is just because we need the extra allowance here to join the sides together. So I'm just gonna be fixing the gathers here. I'm just gonna be making a stitch. Once I'm done with making a stitch, I will just join the downside part. So I just advise you to make a stitch here. And then for the joining part, I'm going to take the bottom part. Remember, I have this other bottom part here which will be on the waist. So for you to understand this, you will take your fabrics and then you place them like this. So the lining is on the bottom and then the actual fabric is here on the top. So you will take your outside fabric like this, and then when you take your outside fabric, your arrows will be facing down, and then this will be the same with also the lining. I'm not sure if you understand. So the gathers part is here in the middle, and then the outer fabric and the lining, it's covering the gathers part of this dress. I'm not sure if you really understand, but then yeah, so that's it. So I'm just gonna be making a stitch here, and then once I'm done I will show you. And this is what I have. So I've really ironed the gathers part, and then while I was ironing the gathers part, I also hand stitched the gathers. So as you can see the way they are placed, this way you just keep the gathers standing like on the right part you want. So now I will be joining the sides I have on the back piece. So I'm just gonna be placing them like this, and then I'll just join the sides together. So I'm just gonna be trimming the excess that I have there on the sides, and then I'll just join this back together, right side facing each other. So this is what I have. This is what you will have. So now I'll be taking the measurements that I have on the bottom part of this dress. So I'll just take my tape measure. I will measure what I have on the bottom part. So I have about 31 inches. So I'm just gonna be doing a paper illustration first before I cut on this fabric, because it won't be easy for you to see what I mean. So I'm just gonna be doing a paper illustration right now, and then we'll continue with our tutorial. So here I'm going to take my 31 inches, the one I got on the bottom part of on the waistline. So I'm going to take the 31 inches by 2, which I got 62 inches. So from the 62 inches, I'm going to take the 62 inches and multiply it by 2, which I got 124. So this 124, I will divide it by 6.28, which I got 19.7. So it's 31 inches by 2. I got 62, and then I take the 62 here, I multiply it by 2, I got 128. Then from 128 I'll divide it by 6.28, which I got 19.7. So I can also round it off. If you can round it off maybe to 20, but mine I'm going to just keep it at 19 inches. So let's say this is the fabric here. So this is 2 meters long, and this is the Milano fabric. So you know, Renee, the vertical is also long. So this is 2 meters long of fabric. So from this 19 inches here, I'm going to take the point here. So remember, this fabric is not on fold, it's just a straight fabric, not on fold. So I'm going to come here on this point. I mark 19 inches. I mark 19 inches, 19 inches, like I do when I'm cutting out a round circle. So from here, I will just get the points here when I mark the 19 inches. And then from this point here, I'll just mark the full length of the skirt. I'll mark the full length of the skirt. So mine, I marked 28 inches. So from the waist to the full length, I marked 28 inches. So fine, this is the waistline, and this is where I'm going to cut out. I'm going to cut out this waistline here, and also the bottom line here. So from this side of the fabric, I'm also going to come this side here. Still, I will mark the 19 inches. I'll mark the 19 inches that I have here, and then I'll just make my dots. So if you don't understand this part, you can also watch some of my videos where I was making a circle skirt. And then from here I will just go down here by 28 inches, and then another 28 inches, and then I'll just join the points together. So when I mark 28 inches, I'll also be making points here together. So I'm going to cut out the full length and then also the waist line. So when you cut here, you will have these two pieces here. So you're gonna take one, which will be the back piece. So from the back piece, I'm just going to fold in like this to find the midpoint. So I'm gonna fold my fabric like this to find the midpoint, and then I'll just cut out. And then after cutting out, it means these are the three pieces that I have right now. So I'm gonna have a seam here when I join these two. I have a seam here when I join these two, but I'm not gonna be joining them now. What I'm gonna do is here, it's going to be the front part, only the front part of the skirt on the waistline. So I'm going to take remember I have 31 inches, so I'm going to make a gather stitch here, and then I'll bring it in up to 15 inches. So I'm going to be reducing this thing here with gathers. I'm going to bring it about in 15 inches. So here on those two parts here, I'm going to make a gather stitch here on the waistline, and then I will also bring it back down to about 7 inches. It might be 7 inches, and then I will do the same here, 7 inches. So I'm going to be making the gather stitch here. It's going to be 7 inches, and then I'll make the gather stitch here to be 7 inches. Basically, when we're making gathers, we're just reducing the sizes here to bring it to the exact size that we want. So when I do that, I'm going to keep in mind that I'm going to leave extra 1.5 inches sewing allowance. And also, yeah, so from when I'm done doing the 7 inches here, when I'm done reducing it to 7 inches, 15 inches, and then the other 7 inches, I'm also going to join the sides seam together. So basically your dress will have the side seams on the sides, and then from there I'll just join the zipper. So let's move on to the fabric. Well, this is it. This is what I have. So I've made my gather, so I'm gonna be attaching this to the top part of the dress. So I'm just gonna be taking the top part of the dress, and then on the bottom part I'm just going to align this right side facing each other, and then I'll just pin down. Once I'm done pinning down, I'll head over to my sewing machine and then make a stitch. So I didn't get a chance to record when I was inserting the zipper and also hemming the bottom part, but the thing is, once you're done with this step, what you have to do is you will insert your zipper. Once you're done inserting the zipper, then you will hem the bottom part of your dress, and that will be it for this dress. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and give me your thoughts on what you think about this video. Thank you so much for watching. So this part, the part is the bottom part, and the other part I'm just going to be showing you, it's the back part where I inserted the zipper. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.